friend of mine was suffering from diarrhea, and he had gone to Westlands in Nairobi in a place called Food Court and ordered for Indian cuisine. And because he's not used to the chili pepper and the recipe, he had a stomach upset. So he went asking where the toilets were. Unfortunately, he asked a man who was a stammerer. He had diarrhea, and he asked a man who was a stammerer where the toilets were. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wow. and, the, and, and the stammerer does not understand that this man had a emergency. This man had to go to the toilet very quickly, but this stammerer started stammering. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the problem in Kenya. When you have a problem and it's very urgent, but the people don't respond, expeditiously. And then, when he found, he had diarrhea. So when he found a toilet, he realized that he had forgotten to carry, there was no tissue paper in the toilet. So you see, ladies and gentlemen, you need to know who to ask for directions. You need to know what to do when, you can imagine this man was suffering. He had a stomach problem. And so this stammerer was telling the toilet is the toilet is just go, then turn to the left. You see, by the time this stammerer was telling him where the toilet were, in fact, he left the stammerer alone and he just ran towards the stage. Don't try a recipe that you don't know. He was very excited. You see, this man, he was very excited to go and try Indian cuisine. And Africans, they don't, they're not used to African cuisine. Indian cuisine. Indian cuisine or Chinese cuisine is full of, chili pepper. So when you get out from eating Indian food, make sure you know where the toilets are. So let's continue. So during the reign of David, there was there was a famine for 3 successful years. At least I've laughed. It's been a long time. So David sought the face of the Lord. The Lord said, "It is on a cord of Saul, blood-stained house." No. I said, Joshua, you did not really understand what I said. I said that there was a friend of mine who he had a stomach problem, and he asked a stammerer where the toilets were. So The stammerer took 10 minutes to give him directions, and he had a stomach problem. I want you to get the joke. So let's continue. The Gibeonites answered him, "We have no right to demand silver or gold from Saul or his family, nor do we have a right to put anyone in Israel to death. What do you want me to do for you?" David asked. They answered the king, "As for the man who destroyed us and plotted against us, so that we have been decimated and have no place anywhere in Israel, let 7 of his that's a very good question. So you got the joke. I want you to get the joke. It was a very funny story. It's a very, very funny story. When I remember that story, I just laugh. And then when you realize that is what happens, you are away from home and you develop a stomach problem. I want you to read in between the lines and just to know what happened. So let's continue. So the king said, "I will give them to you." So the king spared Mephibosheth, the son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, because of the oath the Lord made between David and Jonathan, the son of Saul. Remember that David had a special relationship with Jonathan. And Jonathan, always came to the rescue of David, and Jonathan was very kind to the house of David. So when David was dealing with uh, you know, his nephew, can I call him nephew? No. When he was dealing with the son of Jonathan, Mephibosheth, he was, even though Mephibosheth was not loyal to him, he remembered the oath that he had made to Jonathan. Are we together? It's like when Solomon started worshiping foreign gods. When 10 tribes went to Jeroboam, 2 tribes went to his son Rehoboam, but also God remembered the oath that he made with their grandfather David. Do you remember the oath? It's in the book of 2 Samuel in the beginning. So let's continue. But the king took Ammoni and Mephibosheth, the 2 sons of Rizpah, whom he had borne to Saul, together with the 5 sons of Saul's daughter Merab, whom she had borne. He handed them over to the Gibeonites, who killed them and exposed their bodies on a hill before the Lord. All 7 of them fell together. They were put to death during the first days of the harvest, just as the barley harvest was beginning. Wow. That's very interesting. If you're new to this channel, you can subscribe, you can comment. I'm very happy to. Oh my goodness, uh, uh, you know, I was a big fan of Harry Potter, and I did not read Harry Potter. I watched the movies instead, but I loved Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, the Chamber of Secrets, the Prisoner of Azkaban, the Goblet of Fire, the Half-Blood Prince, Deathly Hallows, Part 1, Deathly Hallows. Trust me, when you talk about Harry Potter, I loved Harry Potter, and I really enjoyed Harry Potter. But, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to give these guys, J.K. Rowling, a lot of my credit. I will instead read the scripture for you because that's the best thing. Are we together? Joshua Garcia, kindly subscribe to this channel. So once again, there was a battle between the Philistines and Israel. David went down with his men to fight the Philistines and became exhausted. Now, this is a very, very interesting part of the scripture. The ghost of Goliath came to haunt David. You see, Goliath, who was a giant from a town called Gath in the Philistines, he had also brothers, and one of his younger brother was called Ishbi Benob. Ishbi Benob. Now, Ishbi Benob, one of the descendants of Rapha. Rapha was a king, a giant. Rapha was a breed between angels, fallen angels, and ladies. So, whose bronze spearhead weighed 300 shekels, and who was armed with a new sword, and said that he would kill David. You see the grudge that since they killed one of their own, Goliath. There was Goliath, there was Ishbi Benob, there was Sath, there was Lami, and there was number 5, the giant with 6 fingers. Okay, there are 5 brothers, giants from Philistines in the town of Gath, and those giants, remember that they were gatekeepers. It's very interesting if you read what the kind of the history behind them. It's very, very interesting. They were gatekeepers. Goliath was a gatekeeper. Lami, Sath, Ishbi Benob, and the giant with 6 fingers. So, but Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, came to David's rescue. He struck the Philistine down and killed him. You know, one thing that Ishbi Benob did, in fact, that was the day David retired from battle. Ishbi Benob waited in the sidelines and targeted David when he was tired from fighting. It's like, somebody's tired but you're fresh. That is not a fair fight. And he was a giant. So he waited until David was old. He waited until he was a bit tired. Then he attacked him. You see, David no longer had the strength to defend himself. So that's when this man called Abishai came to his rescue. So in the course of time, there was another battle with the Philistines at Gob. At that time, Shibekai, Seth is, I've told you, is one of the descendants of Rapha. When you see somewhere written in the scripture, descendant of Rapha is the giants. In another battle of the Philistines, Elhan, the son of Jair, killed the brother of Goliath, who had a spear with a shaft like a weaver's rod. Battle which took place at Gath. There was a huge man with 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes. He also descended from Rapha, and when he taunted Israel, Jonathan, the son of Shimeah, killed him. These 4 were the descendants of Rapha in Gath, and they all fell in the hands of David's men. We're starting from chapter 22.